Welcome back to Wake Up America. I'm Alex Kramer. Well, the stock market finishing lower yesterday, each index dropping by roughly 1 point. So the Dow, taking the largest hit, fell by over 400 points. Futures today are up ahead of the opening bell. So here to break all of that down and a whole lot more, we're going to welcome in global markets analyst Hillary Fordwich. Hillary, good morning. So nice to see you. So today is obviously the last trading session of 2024. What do you think the stock market holds for 2025? Of course, that includes the upcoming Trump presidency.
Well, pleasure to be back with you again, Alex. And I think a couple of things here. I think we've seen things go a little wobbly because of the degree of uncertainty. And I think certainly when President-elect Trump, former President Trump, weighed in to give his support to Mike Johnson in the House, I think that's really helped. But when you see lack of security and stability, that's what really affects the market. I think also the job revisions, the jobless claims, Alex, I think that's really impacted things. In 2023, every single month, quietly, the Biden administration issued a revision downward of job results. And I think there's some underlying concerns here. The biggest concern is, I think, Warren Buffett. He has about $325 billion in cash. He's really exited the market. So I think there's a degree of uncertainty. Importantly, tax cuts must take place earlier in the year rather than later. That way, it impacts two things. Businesses can plan around it. And when individuals see businesses doing well, individuals will trade more. The institutional investors will trade more. There will be a degree of certainty. So roll back regulations and then you have the tax cuts. I think that will give more certainty and then the markets will stabilize and soar.
Well, I do want to stick with the markets for just a second, Hillary. Okay, so Boeing, their shares are in free fall after South Korea launched an investigation into the company's 737-800 jets. So the probe, of course, following the deadliest crash in the country's history, which killed 179 people. Now, it's obviously been a very rough year for Boeing, with the company facing severe backlash after a door plug blew off one of its 737 MAXs mid-flight last January. Hillary, how do you think Boeing makes it on the other side of this probe?
Well, this is not good for Boeing, of course. And so it hasn't made the headlines because no one was hurt. But there also was another incident up in Halifax in Canada. So this isn't really good. That wasn't actually with the Boeing. That was with Bombardier. But I mean, it is all this uncertainty around airlines, right? And the safety. Huge around all the airlines. But now going back to your question with regard to Boeing, I think Boeing has very, very strong issues around DEI. They're rolling back those programs. That was already announced. We have to have investigations as to their safety procedures throughout the company. And I think this is in no aspect can this be good. This cannot be good. Their stocks obviously fell yesterday and continue to plummet. I think this is not good for Boeing. It's going to be a very tough road ahead.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Hillary. This one's kind of a hard one to talk about after all of, obviously, the holiday spending. But after years of hardly easing inflation, it seems Americans, they're just spent, with credit defaults rising to their highest point in 14 years. So the defaults causing credit lenders to write off more than $46 billion in loan balances. I mean, Hillary, I don't know. What does this mean for the country if people just aren't paying their bills?
Well, they're not paying their bills. And actually, Alex, 1/3 of the entire US population still has credit card debt from December of 2023. What does that mean? They are just stuck in the mud. They won't be able to actually pay that off. Why? Because interest rates are over 15% on some credit cards. So they just simply can't get ahead. And we do have a culture of, spend, spend, spend. And it's been obviously good for retailers. But I don't see how we get out of this. Or the only way we can get out of this is going back to my initial point in the beginning of the segment. And that is, if we have the deregulation and if we have tax cuts and if businesses start to boom, then you will see more jobs, people that are on unemployment claims, maybe they'll make more money and they'll be able to pay off that.
I mean, it's all connected, Hillary. Yeah, and it goes exactly to what we spoke about at the very beginning of this segment. Hillary Fordwich, thank you so much for joining us this morning and Happy New Year.
Pleasure to you too, Alex.
Thank you so much.